Everyone get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes. Well, I have a brand new tank, the Löwe. It's the last of the tier 8 heavy premiums that I didn't have. In fact, the only tier 8 premiums I don't have now are the Super Pershing and the whatever it is, the Chinese medium premium that isn't terribly fantastic. I don't particularly desperately want either of those. I've actually had a Super Pershing before and I sold it for gold when I had the opportunity because they changed it so substantially that it just wasn't fun for me to play anymore. I've held off buying a Löwe because I haven't really wanted to pay as much as they're asking for it, frankly. It's a bit of a weird machine. It's kind of jammed together from two different paper tanks, paper designs, basically. It is a big tank. I mean, it is physically big, but it has terrible armor, given that it weighs 90 tons. And this is the reason why I didn't want to actually pay money for one for myself, because it gets 120 frontal armor, which is the same as the IS-8. I think the IS gets 120 frontal armor, but those are all much lighter machines. The phj..wotreplays, which is the tier 9 German heavy that comes before the mouse, is 10 tons lighter, but gets 170 frontal armor on the hull and 250 frontal armor on the turret. Now the turret on this is actually not so bad because it's got that big gun mantlet. That's actually quite bouncy, but it's 120 millimeters front and sides, so it's not bouncy that much apart from the mantlet itself. And because it's 90 tons, it just is a very slow machine. And yeah, it's kind of like, it is everything I thought it would be. I bought it because I was actually gifted a T-34, and I had one in the garage already, so I got 12k gold from that. And I then bought a little bit of gold myself with the money that was donated for the hardware fund, actually. And I do have some sort of news on that front. You guys and gals are amazing because you actually donated enough to cover the entire cost of my hardware, and then a bit on top of that. I think it was total cost was, I think, 500 and something pounds, including the postage. It was something like 515, and I had donated in total about 580. So I was absolutely blown away by that. I was not expecting that to be covered at all. But what I thought I would do is invest a bit of that extra in buying the Löwe at long last, because, you know, I do reviews and stuff, and I thought it would be useful for me to have one of these things. So yeah, it's kind of what I expected. It's not great. It did get a few buffs in that it now carries a lot more ammo than it did, and the gun depression is a little bit better. Most importantly, I think it actually got buffed side armor. It got 100 side armor up from 80, which is actually quite nice. It is now, that is on a par with the VKB, and it means you can actually side scrape against some things. But with 100 side armor, you actually still have to be fairly careful. You can't just side scrape against really big guns, and you have to be careful about the angle, which is something I found on the VKB as well. You have to be really careful about how far you angle. So yeah, it's not a machine I'm enjoying tremendously so far. I am going to show you this replay. This isn't really a review, it's just I have a Löwe and I wanted to say that at the top. Just because, you know, there are still serious issues with the Löwe. It's not one I'd recommend for people to go and buy, especially not one there are not when there are so much better tier 8 premium heavies to get. So without further ado, let's get this replay started. This replay is going to be derpy, and I mean really derpy. There's about 4 different specific things that make it derpy, and 2 of them, wow, we'll see. So Himmelsdorf encounter, and Himmelsdorf is actually not a bad map for this tank. There's a couple of places where you can go properly hull down. There are obviously places where you can side scrape reasonably well, and because I'm top tier, that's actually pretty nice. I have to say the gun on this is kind of meant to be the selling point of this, but it definitely feels inferior to the T-34's gun. And even though, you know, some of the stats on paper are better, but I would say actually the T-34 is the better one to get unless you specifically want something to get, you know, grind experience with your German heavy crews. It's an okay moneymaker as well as premiums go, but I would still prefer the T-34 for that. It's just an all-round better machine than this. This has got its problems. So here we are, derpy thing number 1. This A43 just does not care. Not at all. Everyone misses him. He makes it all the way down there. I think the KV-1S will actually take him out. But, yeah, he just was like, nope. Nope, screw this. Suicide run. I don't even know. But there we go. That's the first kill. We took down an A43 who just went full YOLO. There aren't really enough tanks going to the hill here. Now, like I said, this is really slow machine. I don't have... you know, it's not like I've got a philosophical objection to slow tanks. Far from it. A lot of my favourite tanks are slow tanks. And I will say, by the way, this appears to be an 811 bug with replays, the lack of a reticle. That isn't anything to do with any settings or anything. And oh yes! Did I mention I just got shot by artillery in the back? Friendly artillery. Yeah. The guy didn't apologise or anything. So I'm already thinking, okay, we don't have enough numbers to take the hill. I'm still learning the Löwe. I don't, you know, it's not like I'm playing it with confidence as of yet. The extra gun depression is good here, but it's not like it's good enough to... Oh my word! Really? Really? Again? Okay. That's 650 hit points. That's from friendly artillery fire. It's like you'd think the first time after he fired he would have thought, oh, I'll relocate so I don't hit that guy again. But no, he just... I don't even know. He fired at the exact same spot without relocating himself and nailed me again, damaging my ammo rack. So we're off to a flying start with this battle. It's not even 3 minutes in and I'm already down to, what, 60% health? Mostly because of one friendly artillery who's not really that friendly, all things considered. Anyway, look at this. I mean, the hill is... I was never going to get up the hill in time to support those guys, and that's the problem with the Löwe. Even when you're top tier, it's still a support tank. The T-34, on the other hand, you know, an IS-6, you can be on the front lines, but this thing, no, you really can't. So, yeah, we have lost the hill, and there wasn't really anything I could do to make a massive difference to that. I've done a bit of damage myself, but not much, and, yeah, okay. Have I mentioned that this game was derpy? Have I? Anyway, falling back is really my only option at this point. There's an IS that's just sat there, I'm not sure why. My initial thought is, and I really don't know why, but I would sit at this corner and side scrape. Because hey, you can side scrape in a Löwe now, except this is a really bad location to side scrape. You just get rushed by stuff coming down the hill. It's just not a good idea, and I very quickly, you know, fortunately I come to my senses and decide to back off. And I can't tell if that IS is there or if he's AFK or what. It's 5-6 at the moment, they have definitely got the hill, and if they rushed down, if they came down and took us by force, then they could probably mop up, because the rest of the tank... Look at the rest of the team there. We've got Tiger P, the Rhinotaur, everyone's spread out, everyone's alone, basically. The Tiger 2 and the Panther are at least in a position to kind of support each other, but, you know, the IS isn't moving, artillery's only just started moving, that M4A-E2 is totally AFK, I don't even know. Anyway, like I said before, this map's nice in that there are places where not only can you side scrape, but you can go hull down, and that's actually exactly what I decided to do. Although this Bert looks like he's being a bit cheeky. I'm trying to see if I can get a shot, but no. Haha! Missed! Although he did actually hit me before when I was furiously typing at the... I got a bit peeved by that. Anyway, looking for a shot or two here. That IS is... I don't know why the IS didn't fall back earlier. Artillery... Not the best artillery. Well, clearly not the best artillery. I mean, I know this isn't exactly an artillery-friendly map, but even so, that was not good pattern recognition skills. I can block this advance, though. You know, it's only now that they are coming down the hill. And I don't know how that missed, but it did. Anyway, the rest of the team is now finally consolidating. Fortunately, the enemy team was actually worse than our team. It's one of those situations. And I'm actually now in a position where I can just peek out and do some damage. And, you know, I don't know how much to trust my turret yet, but I did bounce a few shots here. It was actually okay. So, T-29 Commander's Hatch, there we go. Last bit of health off that guy. It's not like I've done a tremendous amount of damage here, but this is one tank versus, you know, I've completely stopped this advance. We've pretty much decisively won by this point. It's just a matter of mopping up. So there's the 5100 going for it. And this is a really nice position to be in for a 5100. This late game situation where there's lots of low health targets. You can just go in and pow, pow, pow. That Löwe has actually still got a fair bit of health left. But he's getting a few nice kills in there. So there we go, the Löwe's backed off. That Bert is still alive. He's one of the last to die. And AMX 5100 gets the Bert as well. And then puts his last couple of shells into the Löwe. So that guy is done pretty well out of this. 5 kills. He's going to have a nice damage count as well. This was a fairly well played game for the 5100. But he could have been rushed at various points. Oh, there we go. I actually got the guy to burn out. Nice. So yeah, this was derpy. I mean, this was really derpy. This was one where we won only because the enemy team really didn't get their shit together. They just flailed. You know, there were several opportunities where actually they could have, one or two really good players could have really swung it in their flavor. They could have really swung it in their flavor. Okay, GG. But yeah, it just didn't go their way. I didn't do tremendously well in that battle, less than 2k damage. The XP was alright, the credits earned was alright, but the 5100, like I said, you know, he did really well in that one. 1300 XP, 4.2k damage. The Rheinmetall did alright as well, 3.6k damage. The rest of the team was not that great. You know, Tiger 2 with 600 damage, AT-15 770, IS-3 800 damage. The AMX-13 did 282 damage to the enemy team. He did 650 damage to his own team. So GG to that arty player. I mean, it could have been... Honestly, I've done that before on that map. You shoot and it hits somebody in the back on the crest. It all depends on the artillery trajectory. But when it happens and then somebody's in the same place, you relocate your arty. You don't just fire again at the same spot and, you know, do exactly the same thing. That was just silly. The whole game was just silly. And I think that was the last game of... You know, this was the first evening I had the Löwe, and I played that after a couple of disastrous games because I was still getting used to it. And I was just like, nope, that's it. I'm going to bed now after that. Because just what can you do after a game like that? You know, we won, but oh my word. Anyway, hopefully there will be some decent Löwe videos at some point. I'm yet to have a really good game in this, but there will be one at some point, I'm sure. You know, even a tank I don't particularly enjoy, you occasionally can pull a really good result out of the bag. So fingers crossed that'll be sooner rather than later. Anyway, if you liked this video for whatever reason, because my word was it derpy, you can hit the like button. You can leave a comment below, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.